This is an NBC News special report. Atlantis, the final flight. Here's Brian Williams.
We are coming on the air from New York, and as you'll see in a moment, Florida. It is time to see what is, in effect, the end of the U.S. manned space program as we've come to know it, with NASA firing rockets off into space with individuals on board. Hundreds of individuals have made this trip now, going back to 1961. We have had 135 shuttle missions, hard to believe. And 30 other missions prior to this. There are 4 astronauts on board. Captain is known to his colleagues as Fergie, Chris Ferguson, 49. Doug Hurley is the pilot. He's 44, Marine Corps Colonel. Mission Specialist Sandra Magnus is 46, and Rex Walheim is a retired Air Force Colonel. Looking well as they came out into the vehicle to go out to the pad this morning. Just 4 of them, because there's no shuttle rescue mission. Should something happen to go get them, they would have to come back on a Russian craft from the International Space Station. Our launch is coming up in 2.5 minutes. You see the top of the apparatus come off the solid rocket booster. There have been some question for days now about the dicey weather conditions in South Florida today. We have a special event here, and that is our own space veteran, Jay Barbrie, 53 years covering all of manned space flight for this country. This will be his 166th mission. And Jay, take us down to 30 seconds, especially for what this day means to you. It's a training exercise.
Well, Brian, it means the end of an era, as you said, but again, it's about the same as always. It's always the same excitement. You've got souls on board. You want to make sure they get into orbit safely. And the launch team here has been performing as it's always performed. However, there are 6,700 people on this launch team, and after this mission, there'll be 1,000 left. So it's getting down hairy here, a job situation, but they're flying like always, and we're getting real close here as George Diller is in launch control. He's a veteran. And he will be taking us down to liftoff, Brian.
It is important to remember, Jay, as you point out, that for a lot of the veterans, this is it. They walk away from the control panel as commercial space flight takes over.
That's true. It'll probably be at least 4 years before we see astronauts leave this sand spit again. As you said, there have been 165 flights from Cape Canaveral. This will be 166. And we're getting real close here with 40 seconds to go to launch. And I want to tell you this, Brian. We're going to be climbing up toward your place where you are. This will be going up the eastern seaboard. From here to Asbury Park, New Jersey is where this will burn out in about 8.5 minutes. Now let's let George Diller take us through the rest of the countdown.
Recast, please. NTDSP. Go ahead. So we need guys to go through the...
Just went into a hole here at T-minus 31. In a hole here at T-minus 31. We're not going anywhere. Let's see what's going on.
Verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera 62 right now. Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is flown over, and you can verify LCC for GVA retract, please.
We should be hearing from George Diller in a moment, any moment, that will tell us what happened here. They're holding at T-minus 31 seconds.
The GVA has fully retracted. For our pre-plan.
They were having trouble getting something retracted from the space shuttle itself.
Okay, and you can verify that it is fully retracted per the instructions that we've been that we developed, correct? That's correct. All right, and SCE? And SCE concurs. They set aside the requirements of GSC 13 pre-plan contingency. I'm go. Okay, I copy. And launch director. Yes, sir. I heard all that and concur. Press on. All right, very good. NPDST. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I need concurrence to GLS and ask to clear the hold, please. Very good. And GLS, you have concurrence? Go.
We still got about 4 minutes to go in this window.
And Jay, this was about checking.
Launch, yeah.
This was about checking to see whether the arm had retracted all the way. They were trying to swing cameras around to be sure. And we'll get our call here.
They're trying to get the beanie cap all the way back. Got the cameras watching.
3 minutes and 16 seconds.
2 minutes and 16 seconds left before we have to launch. They're holding at T-minus 31 seconds.
All right, very good.
They say they're ready to go.
With that cleanup, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Yes, sir, please do. All right, and all personnel, we are going to pick up the clock here momentarily. GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark. Copy that. Mike
Leinbach is the launch director.
2, 1.
Here we go. We're counting. Counting again.
Sequence start.
And off to Atlantis' computers has occurred.
Here's George
Rocket
going.
booster nozzle steering check in work.
20.
Firing chain is armed.
15.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis. On the shoulders of the space shuttle, America will continue the dream.
For now, and for the last time in history, a space shuttle and its crew rose towards the heavens from NASA's spaceport on Friday, defying gloomy weather and the deeper gloom over the end of a 30-year era of spaceflight. Atlantis lifted off more than 2 minutes late at 11:29 a.m. Eastern Time due to a last-minute glitch involving a camera system that verifies the retraction of a gas venting arm from the shuttle. The launch team hustled to make sure the arm was indeed out of the way for launch, then restarted the count at T-minus 31 seconds. The countdown was also marked by weather concerns that continued nearly to the last minute. Mission managers issued a waiver just 9 minutes before launch to let the count proceed despite some minor weather constraints. The tension of the final minutes was balanced by a sense of history. It will be at least 3 years if all goes well. Atlantis Commander Chris Ferguson captured the mood in comments made just before launch. The shuttle is always going to be a reflection of what a great nation can do when it dares to be bold and commits to follow through, he said. We're not ending the journey today. We're completing a chapter of a journey that will never end. Yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. But is that really the path this nation is on now? Perhaps it was not really a good time to retire the shuttle fleet, because there is a spiritual side to everything. There is a spiritual side to human spaceflight. Could it be that there's something more going on here? Could it not be also a part of God's plan for humans or humankind? Yes, it's our destiny or fate to go to the stars and to populate the galaxies and the universe. God's long-term vision or plan for humanity. So, somehow, America, United States, is dropping the ball when it comes to putting humans back into space, among other things. This is a sign of the times and another physical manifestation of the book of Revelation. It's about the long-term plans for humanity. Human overpopulation on this earth is already getting out of hand. It's our destiny to expand into the universe. Everything is connected, and everything is numbered. In other words, things happen for a reason. Revelation chapter 14, verse 17. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. 18. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. 19. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. 20. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles. by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Chapter 15. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels, having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. 2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. 3. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. 4. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy, for all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. 5. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. 6. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. 7. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who lives forever and ever. 8. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, and no human was able to enter into the temple, until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. Again, it's time for all these things to come to pass, for all prophecy to be fulfilled. And all these things are more signs of the end times, transition days, which is a continuing, day-by-day process of extraordinary happenings, events, and changes, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations.